I'm very honored to introduce the commencement speaker, Dr. Timothy Ritter, Professor of Physics and Director of PERC, the Pembroke Undergraduate Research and Creativity Center. Dr. Ritter received the 2013 UNC Board of Governors Award for Excellence in Teaching, a well-deserved acknowledgement of the profound impact he has had at UNCP over the past 17 years and well beyond UNCP. One of his most exciting projects is his work mentoring teams of UNCP students in NASA's Reduced Gravity Student Flight Opportunities Program, commonly referred to as the weightless Lumbies. When I first came to UNCP, one of my students took part in the first team of students and reported on the experience. It made a lasting impression on her life. Last spring, Dr. Ritter's 7th team went to Houston. His students and colleagues praise his accessibility and caring attitude towards students. Students say he genuinely cares about their successes and struggles and serves as a great role model. A graduate of the State University of New York at Buffalo, where he earned his bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in physics, Dr. Ritter's approach is to inspire students to apply the advanced concepts they learn in class to real-life problems. Teaching is something you do, he says, because you love it. Dr. Ritter inspires all of us with his dedication to serve not only UNCP, but also the country as a commander in the U.S. Navy Reserves. He's periodically been called to active duty, including having spent a year in Iraq. We're very fortunate to have Dr. Tim Ritter on UNCP's team. Dr. Ritter.
Thank you, Judy. I got to meet this guy they're talking about someday. Well, I've got good news and I got bad news. The bad news is I'm what's standing between you and your degrees. The good news is they finally let us sit down. Chancellor, provost, distinguished guests, platform party, faculty, staff, proud parents and family. Finally, the most important attendees, the winter commencement class of 2013. Greetings to you all on this very special occasion, during which we're here to acknowledge the accomplishments of these students sitting here before us today. Graduates, are you happy to be here? As we just heard, some of you have spent 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can do a little better. 4 years to get here. Are you happy to be here? That's a bit better. First, though, I'd like to put everybody's mind at ease by assuring you that there will be no wardrobe malfunctions during this speech, and definitely no twerking, because Ritter ain't got no junk in the trunk. I must confess that I was and still am a bit nervous about this. I've certainly lectured in the classroom often, made conference presentations, given outreach presentations. I've even given classified briefings to flag officers in a combat zone. But this is actually my first formal speech. I've sat in your position on the receiving end of a good number of these, sitting in the audience, listening, but preparing for one is quite different. So like any good tech-savvy individual, when I want to know about something or learn how to do something, Google. I first searched for examples to learn what some of the best speeches contain, and as you can imagine, I found many commencement addresses listed, and most of which actually have a video so I could watch them being delivered. The majority of these were speeches delivered by famous people at very prestigious universities. Steve Jobs at Stanford, J.K. Rowling at Harvard, U2 frontman Bono at the University of Pennsylvania, and of course, President Obama at a very long list of institutions. And from what I saw and read, and from my own experiences, the recurring pieces in these speeches were the following. They all had a welcome, the introductory humorous statement, many quotes from famous people, much reminiscing about the speaker's past and his or her life lessons learned. And of course, they all closed with inspirational words to the graduating class. But then I tried to remember my own undergraduate commencement address. and I must admit I could not. I tried to remember some of the inspirational words from past commencement addresses right here at UNCP. And while I could remember many of the distinguished colleagues who've preceded me in delivering these addresses, I was at a loss for the specifics. The most famous speaker I can recall my years here at UNCP was the great Bill Cosby. But what I remember from that commencement was, it was outside on an oppressively hot Saturday one May, and that faculty, students, and family members had to get up from the open seating and find shade because of the heat and humidity. I must sheepishly admit, I cannot remember any of the great Bill Cosby's sage advice. So how about you? I ask you in the audience, the faculty, the platform party, how many of you remember your undergraduate commencement speaker? How many remember what they said? How many could quote from it? So it doesn't matter what I say. So when I began thinking about my own attempt to inspire you all, I tried to keep two key concepts in mind. First, this is your commencement, class of 2013. It's not mine. It's about you. It's about your accomplishments. It's about your memories, it's about your beginning and your future. It is not about my past. It's not about my memories or the lessons that I learned back in the day, BC. That's before cell phones. You laugh, a lot of you are going to have, I think it's what, AS, after smartphones. And the second point I wanted to keep in mind was, do something worthy of remembering in 5, 10, 15 years from now. All right, to begin, I promise at least a few stories from my past which contain my lessons learned. Me standing up here telling you about my life lessons learned is much like a parent telling their child, stay out of the cookie jar. Or a parent telling their child, I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did. How well does that advice work, parents? Yeah, it doesn't, right? Instead, what I want to do is I want to hear your life lessons learned. I want to hear your memorable experiences from UNCP. And I mean it, I want to hear them. So here I come. Hello? Check, check. Yes. All right, graduates, here I come. And of course, to entice you as you all learn, you have to do, I've got free t-shirts. There's a limited number. So what are your life experiences learned, graduates? This is your chance to speak at your own commencement. What's something you learned? There we go. And remember, this is a G-rated family event, please.
Stand up. Oh my gosh. Hello, everyone. What I have learned, I've been in college for, I will say, 6 years. And although it's taken me a really long time to get here today, I just wanted to say, make sure that you always work hard and do your schoolwork, because that always comes first. But I'm just very appreciative to everyone that's helped me get to where I am today. And so everyone else, congratulations.
Thank you. Someone else? All right. Thank you. Someone on the end.
Hi, everyone. My name is James. My most memorable event would be the internship working at Comtech. I've worked around Dr. Barr and Dr. Holmes, so it was very memorable, and I appreciate all the work they've did with me.
Thank you.
How you doing? I want to thank my family real quick, my girlfriend, everybody. How y'all doing? Miss Ellen? All right. Yeah, Pembroke's been great, man. I had a great time with you guys. We've learned a lot. Take what you learned from this university and all your experiences and just continue to be great. Continue that excellence onto life, and let this just be the beginning of our future. Congratulations.
Thank you. And we have one more.
My name is Lourdes. Ooh, I sound like that. My most memorable moment was when I studied abroad twice in Spain. And I learned a lot from those experiences because I learned how to adapt to new environments.
Thank you. And I love hearing some of those comments because I've been a big proponent of most of the education occurs outside the classroom. So going to Spain, working in labs and things like that. And I think this is much better hearing their life memories, their lessons learned, rather than hearing me talk about back when I wore a mullet and stonewashed jeans and things like that. Yeah. And I promised to put somebody else on the spot, another one of our undergraduates here. Though she's not graduating, she said she's going to have a wonderful life story for us.
I am thankful, and I learned a lot through my relationship. I was lucky enough to meet my first love here at my second year in Pembroke, and through that I learned so much about myself more than the relationship.
All right. But enough of the past. Here comes the inspirational words part. After all, this is commencement, and according to Merriam-Webster's, commencement is the time when something begins. So what is it that's beginning? Why, obviously, the rest of your life. And while many of you may hear people telling you that this is just the beginning of the rest of your life, I find that many students don't actually believe this statement. Rather, they too often think of it as a culmination. Yes, it might be the culmination of your academic career. Many of you will go on, though. But it is the beginning of so much more. I cannot tell you the number of times I've had students tell me that they can't wait to graduate because they need a break. Or they've been in school so long, they're ready for something easier. Well, it's been my experience that once you graduate, that's when the real work, the work of life, commences. But the future is not something to be feared. It's not something to be put off. That's what graduate school's for. But rather, you should embrace the challenges of your future, because with what you've learned in college, with your newfound abilities, all I can say is, oh, the places you'll go. When I graduated with my PhD, the woman that I was romantically involved with, who was my fiancée at the time and is now my wife, and is sitting here in the audience, gave me a graduation present that I still have to this day, I still cherish to this day. I still look at it on a regular basis, and because it made such a lasting impression on me, I want to share it with all of you. So scamper back in time with me and just imagine. I had spent 4.5 years as an undergraduate, 6.5 years in graduate school. I'd earned a PhD in condensed matter physics. The title of my dissertation was, are you ready? High Pressure Optical Studies of Deep Levels and Band Offsets and Wide Bandgap Optoelectronic Systems. I can't even remember it. I was on top of the world. I was thinking rather highly of myself because I was now Dr. Ritter. If someone had tried to shoot me, the bullets would have bounced right off. And to celebrate my arrival at the pinnacle of my life, the woman I loved more than anything in this world gave me a children's book. A book by Theodore Seuss Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss. Oh, the places you'll go. How many of you are familiar with this book? All right, a few. I had never seen it. I had never read it before she gave me that copy. Yes, Dr. Seuss. I must admit that I was more familiar with his other more complex, intricate, monumental literary works such as Hop on Pop, Fox in Socks, One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. That's a classic. And yet, when I got over the surprise that my gift was a children's book and I actually read it for the first time, I could not believe that the same author of those other titles had captured such timeless words of wisdom and inspiration, all conveyed in that unique rhyming style that is Dr. Seuss. To this day, when I'm invited to someone's graduation ceremony or party, my go-to present, a copy of that book. So, I wanted to give each and every one of you a copy of this book. However, at $15 a copy and 400 graduates, the wife said no. So instead, please allow me to share with you the inspirational words of Dr. Seuss. They couldn't quite get the fireplace. Oh, the places you'll go. Congratulations! Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the guy. You'll decide where to go. You'll look up and down streets, look them over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not-so-good street. And you may find any you not want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. It's opener there, in the wide open air. Out there things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang. You'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true, that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on. You'll be left in a lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and the chances are then that you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. You will come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're darkened. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you dare stay out? Do you dare go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you go in, should you turn left or right and 3/4? Or maybe not quite, or go back and sneak in from behind? Simple it's not, I'm afraid you will find, for a mind maker upper to make up his mind. You can get so confused that you'll start in to race down long wiggled roads at a breaknecking pace and grind on for miles across weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, toward a most useless place, the waiting place. But no, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing. With banner flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky, because you're that kind of guy. Oh, the places you'll go. There is fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame. You'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. Except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too, games you can't win because you'll play against you. All alone. Whether you like it or not, alone will be something, you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. But on you will go, though the weather be foul. On you will go, though your enemies prowl. On you will go, though the hacking cracks howl. Onward up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with left. And will you succeed? Yes. Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So, be your name Buxom or Bixby or Bray, or Mordecai Allen Van Allen O'Shea, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mounting is waiting, so get on your way. If I was If I was Mr. Spock, I'd say live long and prosper. In the Navy, we say fair winds and following seas. But today, to the class of 2013, I just say go forth and do great things. Thank you.